Doing all right?
Great.
Got some sleep last night? Rested? Perfect. All right, I'm Louis Gigliotti. I'm an executive producer for THQ. It's David, creative director, THQ. And he's actually going to be driving the code, and I'm just going to give you guys a quick background into the story. Anybody familiar with it at all? Not? You got one guy over there. Thanks, bro. No, seriously, you probably don't know about it yet, but you will know about it very shortly. It's based on a book called 2033, Metro 2033, okay? It was written by a guy named Dmitry Glukhovsky. The book in Russia is one of the biggest selling novels of all time. It's anybody knows anything about Russian literature, it's a very literate country. Okay, so he basically put out a couple short stories a few years ago, put them up online just for, shits and giggles, and over 2 million people downloaded it and read it. Wrote the book, sold through the roof. As a matter of fact, they've already released the sequel, oddly enough called Metro 2034. And the book sold over 300,000 copies in 1 week, which in Russia alone. So the reason why everybody here and the rest of the world's going to know about it shortly is because the book is being translated into every language imaginable, including English, and it gets released in the United States, the rest of the world, next month. That's February. The game actually releases the following month in March. But I'll give you a quick background of the story from the book and obviously the game. It is post-apocalyptic, okay? So the big blast has happened. And anybody knows anything about the metro system underneath Moscow? It was actually designed and fitted to not only withstand a nuclear blast, but also to house human beings. So the blast happens, and about 40,000 people end up making it underground. That's it. Everybody else decimated. Planet gone. So what ends up happening is these Russians that actually get down there, they start creating a semblance of civilization down there. And every metro station down there becomes not just its own station, not even its own city. It becomes almost like its own country, with its own culture, with its own ideology. So you're going to see where our hero, Artyom, which I'll get into in a little bit, his is called Exhibition Station, and it's the closest thing to humanity. You're going to notice that they sit around, they talk a lot about Moscow and what it was, and dreaming about a day that maybe they're going to be able to come topside again and live again. And they try and do daily things, routines that make them feel like they're still humans, right? But other stations have been overrun by extremist groups. You got neo-Nazis in one station, and these old school communists in these other stations, they're always warring with each other. There's actually this funny little quote in the game where people are going, because they don't know the history, the young people that have been born there, going, I heard there was a war once between Nazis and Russians or something like that, obviously referring to World War II, but it's just all myth to some of these people that have born and raised there. So not only are there those factions, but some stations have been overrun completely by what's left of the creatures of Earth that didn't get decimated in the big blast. They obviously got radiated and mutated into like the most disturbing, fiercest creatures you've ever seen. And you're actually going to see some of them in the game when you guys play it. And you're going to know what I mean by some disgusting mutations that are actually the scariest things ever. But here's the twist on the whole story. What really separates it from most post-apocalyptic themes. It's not just about a barren wasteland. It's not Mad Max. There's actually this incredible mythical element to the whole story. There's these creatures called the Dark Ones. I'm going to refer to them when you're playing the game. You're going to see a little bit of them. They're important for one thing. Basically, it's what really, in the fiction of the book, really separates it from, just your run-of-the-mill, what you see in post-apocalyptic tale. They're these creatures and no one knows what they are. Everybody speculates. What makes them different is they don't attack like these mutated creatures. They tear you to pieces like they do. No, they attack psychically. Okay, and when the Dark Ones invade a subway station, instead of seeing blood and guts and body parts strewn all around, you see nobody, or maybe a couple people, but they're in this weird state of dementia, lasts for 2 or 3 days, and they die. So obviously you can imagine how this really scares the populace down there. Some people believe, like our hero's father, believe that they're humans that are evolved and they will inherit the earth. Some people, think they don't care what they are. dangerous. They must be eliminated, just like any other vermin, right? Now, what makes our hero, Artyom, special in the book and also in the game is that while everybody else is being attacked by these dark ones and suffering these just deranged dementia and dying, he apparently is the only person who is immune to the attacks of the dark ones, okay? You don't know why at first, and just like the book, it unveils as you go through, because in the game you have these visions constantly. They start off very small. The dark ones are communicating with him. He sees things that while other people are dying, he actually sees these visions from the dark ones. And as you progress through the game, these visions go from non-interactive experiences to actually interactive experiences where you're actually walking through these visions and there's puzzles to solve. And so basically, you know, that's an element that's fresh to the game, fresh to the fiction in the book. So that's really what really separates it from just your classic, you know, a blast goes off, we're all Mad Max, we're just trying to survive. The game actually follows the book very, very closely. It is a beautifully scripted, cinematic, linear experience. That said, when you're in areas that are non-hostile, like Riga or Exhibition, you can wander around. You can interact. You don't have to necessarily follow it that strictly. You can go, you can interact with different human beings. We're going to show you some cool stuff you can do. The decisions you make in the game actually affect how the game plays out, and there's different endings in the game depending on the decisions you made when you were just interacting with other human beings. Good decisions, bad decisions actually come into play in this game. So we're going to quickly show you a demo that David's going to play through. And it's going to give you a feeling for the fiction and the look and feel. One more note before he starts playing. I talked a lot about the author Dmitry in the book and how it relates. He is not just a guy where we grabbed some book and we said, hey man, let's make this game out of this book. He is actually at the studio. He's an employee now at the studio. He's been there from day one to help direct this. And you all see how beneficial it is to the look and feel and the aesthetic of a game. We had that with Joe Mad on Darksiders. When you're a part of the studio, you actually get that extra level of aesthetic cohesiveness. And this game is actually benefiting from the same thing. So check it out.